welcome to Fellowship of Geeks. I'm Diane.
And I'm Jim. Today,
we are in unison because we are so excited about doing our Dungeons and Dragons starter set, Heroes of the Borderlands.
harkens back to the days of the old red box, the Keep on the Borderlands, and the Caves of Chaos. So this is for the latest version of 5e, the 2024 flavor, and this is the starter set. So you can see on there if the focus will play nice with the glare and the reflection. Paid $49.99 for it at my favorite local game store. So we're going to flip it over and have a quick look at the back there. All kinds of goodies in here, and somewhere I can tear the cellophane off. There is a cat just off the edge of the camera there who may be very interested, so happy Catter Day for everybody out there in kitty cat land. If your cats are watching, meow, 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 meow. I know, I just said nonsense to them. Poor kitties. All right. Cellophane's off. Came that to my lovely co-host.
I appreciate that it very intentionally is also a red box.
I guess you could call that red. Burgundy or maroon, or I don't know, some kind of orangey flavor there, but yeah, definitely harkens back to the red box of old. All right, lid's on there nice and tight. Let's see if we can slide it off, make a nice little squeaking sound. Man, that is not kidding.
They are really tight these days.
That is not kidding. They got it packed in there good. All right, there we go.
Just for the kiddos, I see on the side there's a QR code. See how easy it is to play.
Cooperative play for 3 to 5 players. Come on, you need more than 5 at your table. 45 minutes of game time. I'm not sure I buy any of that nonsense. Let's see here. The contents tell us that we're going to find, what are we going to find in there? We're going to find some quick start rules, a play guide, 3, not just 1, but 3 adventure books. I guess that's the modules. Double-sided poster maps, posters, handouts, a combat tracker, character sheets, character boards, 210 cards for characters, items, monsters, NPCs, and spells. Boy, things are stepping up. 273 tokens for monsters, terrain, and resources. And the most important part, game dice. That was probably horribly out of focus, so I'll try to do better. All right, unpacking the box. It even tells us how to do that there. Unpacking the box. The first time you open this box, unpack and organize. Well, we'll unpack. Organization may have to fall by the wayside there.
It's amazing how many games need an organization system along with them. Do you think it has it's not going to have punch outs?
Oh, don't be so sure. Don't be so sure.
I'm
All
ready.
right. Unpacking the box. Retrieve the booklets and maps. Punch out the tokens.
What?
Way to push forward there. Retrieve the class boards. Sort the cards. An ongoing game. For everyone, there's all kinds of stuff. And for Dungeon Masters only, there's some things. All right, choose your role. Get started. The adventure. A little bit about your character sheet there. Oh, and all the components here on the back. All right. You don't want to look at a picture of the components. You want to look at the actual components. I know, cast it aside, Mo-Cat. He's like, oh, what'd you throw on the floor? First of all, the player's guide. All right, we got looks like they're fighting, I don't know, these eared critters. Are those goblins? I think those look like goblins. What do you think, Diane? You got your...
I hadn't realized they were fighting the barbarian. I was like, well, those are elves. But then I see the elf in the background.
They got the goblin hook swords there. That's
Okay.
obviously a goblin kind of
Definitely
deal.
goblins.
This one's an archer back there. He's fighting your tank. Maybe...
I see my Legolas in the background.
All right, he's back there with the archer. And then, I don't know if that's a cleric or a paladin or what's going on. But man, where's their magic user? They're in trouble.
They might be in trouble.
I mean, the paladin can help them out with some healing, but man, they need a cleric and a magic user in this party. They're setting us up for failure already, man. DM centric. Okay. So, look at that. There we go. Right on the inside cover. Keep on the Borderlands. Module B2. The classic. All right. Well, that's good. Good they gave us a little about the original. Got backgrounds cards, species cards. Remember, they changed it. We don't have races anymore. We have species now.
Species, got it.
Equipment cards and spell cards. Burning Hands, that one's helpful. Class boards. Not a character sheet, but we've upgraded to boards. Does that make it a board game now?
Probably.
Let's see
That's
here.
an
Magic items.
interesting change I'm curious how it would play differently if it may be easier for new users to read it in a cardboard format instead of character sheet.
If you think of the really complex board games, Darkest Dungeon, Dungeon Siege, Gloomhaven, they have character boards that you can track some level of advancement, but not quite as advanced as a character sheet with as much information. So,
True.
Dumbing down is the wrong word, trying to simplify it and not overwhelm those new players.
I did think I went with ease of new player
Ease of play,
introduction.
right? A copper dragger, dragger? One of them coppin' draggers.
It's a dragger wormling.
A dragger wormling. I was like, is it a baby Trask? No, that'd be too much fun. Oh, all right. Now we're getting into the exciting part, kids. We have some polyhedrals there. Explains the different kinds. D4, also known as a caltrop. D6 is your classic cube. D8, the D10, or the 10-digit one for percentiles. The D12, the most underused dice ever made. And the D20.
I like for a minute there under playing the game, their introduction is rhythm of play. I think for most board games, the rhythm of how it should play is sometimes hard to grasp, particularly then in a game where we roll for initiative and we play in different orders frequently. Looking at what the rhythm of that is going to be, that's a really good turn of phrase to introduce players to it.
Pull the box over there so we can get the whole
there you go.
whole bag on the screen so we're not half and half there. Yeah, and I agree. I think one of the hardest things for new DMs and new players is to understand the flow and the ebbs and where those breaks are. And if they're familiar with storytelling and those different things like that, they may be better at it. And if they're not as familiar, that can certainly be a learning curve as they understand that with new players and particularly new GMs, how to time things out.
It is a turn-taking game, but it's not your turn, my turn, good guy, bad guy. Like, there are intricacies to that build into that rhythm. So I appreciate that.
All right, we got some D20 tests. Looks like somebody missed the old trap save there because there's stakes. They look like they even have poison on them too. Somebody's picking a lock, and I don't know what this dwarf fella's doing here, but that looks bad. I don't know what's going on there.
A mountainside?
I don't know. It looks like there's a skull up in there, and I don't know what kind of.
Away at a gelatinous cube?
Oh, it is a gelatinous cube. He is trying to make some Jello there. All right, everybody's got room for Jello. All right, savings throws, attack rolls, advantage, disadvantage, pretty standard tropes. Actions, explain those. Social interaction, again, one of those things that takes a little bit of a learning curve if you're used to a more traditional board game. Hey, Mo, checking it out. I don't see any cat familiars just yet. Looks like, I was going to say, these people are at a tavern. No, they're at a gaming table.
Imagining a tavern.
That's right, imagining a tavern, and they got some sort of druidic ritual going on out there in the woods. Got your cloak person. Maybe that's a rogue. Yeah, sit on there. Okay, buddy. This person's got a fancy hat. Your dwarven fighter's back there, and that dude looks like a cavalier or a paladin with his white coat. I mean, who does he think he is?
He does look like a paladin.
Exploration, finding hidden objects. You're going to spend some time doing that. Combat. Now we're talking.
Going to need a lot of explanation on how you do combat.
How you move in position. Playing on a grid, that might be new. No, Mo, you're making it hard to flip pages here, buddy. It's Catterday, but it's not all about you. All right, some of the artwork was pretty good to start out, but they're packing a lot more crunch in than artwork here.
Becomes a lot, very text heavy there.
Got our table there. Make sure you follow your franchise mode and get your Dungeons and Dragons by Hasbro t-shirt.
What I do appreciate in these last two pieces of art, though, is what a great perspective they're giving about sitting around the table playing, and in your imagination, here's the parts that are going on and the characters you're playing.
Showing that juxtaposition.
Really good way to demonstrate, listen, it's a role playing where we're rolling dice, but we're also pretending to be other people
right
in a role. And that's just a really innovative way to describe that.
Poor Dungeon Master, he's the rest of the world there. You don't really see him depicted as The little dude in the robe. Come on, bud. All right. Rules glossary. Man, that is important because what the hell does this mean? Always looking at those. Cantrips, but no caltrips. So I guess you'll have to find that word out on your own when you step on a D4 and learn some more colorful metaphors. So the glossary is good, and also your abbreviations right off there off the top.
Right, that camera is struggling a little bit there.
Is it? All right, let's force focus it.
Once you turn the page, you're going to have to leave it for a little bit.
Let it chill.
Yeah.
Cube for the area of effect. Dark vision. Dash. Man, really saving on the art here.
Very text heavy again.
Really saving on the art, and got a little black and white across the top there. Looks like they're in the frozen wastes. Can't quite tell what kind of critters those are. Definitely some sort of evil ritual going on there.
Sorcery or something.
Man, there is not a ton of art in this book.
What is this it's going through that's so text heavy?
I think we're still in the glossary.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this is still in the glossary as it's explaining, and that's an encyclopedic glossary.
It is. So I have a question. I did not have an original red box. I am familiar with a number of hardcover books that we have of Dungeons and Dragons. Where that, like, there's not necessarily a glossary in it. That information is somewhere within the book and usually kind of detailed out in sections of what it is. I guess my question is, I don't remember the books being quite this text heavy.
I mean, there was always a lot of text, but there was a lot of artwork, and particularly when I don't remember the second edition being as much, but third edition when it came out, all the pages were colored, and those had a little bit of the vellum color to them. But nothing fancy, but they all had the borders, and I was like, oh, so that's, they can have less text and less art because they're squishing the page down a little bit there. And certainly couldn't tell you about fourth edition. But fifth edition had more art, and again, has the borders and the edges, and I know some of the simpler, more indie games often get criticized. Well, it doesn't have enough art, it's not full color. Boy, it certainly seems like in again, the basic book there, the play guide, sure seems like they were saving a few bucks on some artwork there. All right.
So what do we have here?
This is the Wilderness Adventure booklet. Looks like we got some lizard men there, maybe.
I was thinking, yeah, toad people or something.
Yeah, he's definitely got here's going his poor little chameleon buddy and his tortoise friend and frog guy, and then a couple of these lizard guys. They should have tridents, though. I mean, that's just
definitely.
Personal preference there. All right. So that looks kind of cool. That's the Wilderness book, and I think that is certainly a missing piece from Hello Mo. Keep moving, keep moving, keep moving. People don't want to see you as much as they love our cats. You gotta come on, share the road here, bud. Share the road. The first basic edition did not have much about wilderness adventuring. Sure, there was a little bit of work that happened between the keep and getting out to the Caves of Chaos.
Okay.
There were a couple wilderness encounters, but there was not much on wilderness adventuring, random encounters. There just wasn't a ton of that, certainly in the basic set. You have to wait for the expert set, and that was all about wilderness adventures and came away from, your dungeon crawling. Anything that happens in between, the tavern and the dungeon, that's kind of filler. Hey, we travel along. Oh, some bandits rob you. Oh my gosh, there were spiders in the trees where you camped out. That was kind of thrown to the side. And when you go to the expert edition, the Isle of Dread was all about outside, wilderness adventuring and all the things you could encounter in the wilderness. You might find some ruined temple, but it was not as dungeon crawl heavy as certainly the basic edition was focused on that. So that's a nice addition, kind of update to add wilderness adventuring to it.
Now that's a good looking map, I gotta say.
The wilderness, I mean, it's straight up wilderness there. You got Some trees, you got some trail there, you got the old keep on the Borderlands. Caves of Chaos are back here in the corner there. So talking about exploring the wilderness. So yeah, so I think I think this is a good addition. It's a nice map. Again, a little sparse on the artwork here, and you've got your different encounters, your trail encounters, your features, the talkative traveler you can meet, your bandits. Oh my gosh, bandits are gonna catch you between the tavern and the dungeon? No way.
This also looks very much like a traditional adventure.
Yes, definitely, and gives some, again, gives the cues on social interactions, how to do active role playing, descriptive role playing. Talks a little bit about how to roll for, or, with disadvantage or advantage there. So that's nice that those, hey, remember this thing is kind of plugged into the adventure there. Oh, ruined temples. I give you the occult ritual out there. Got the woods, some spirits that are cruising around there. Sparring spirits, your occult ritual, the hermit's hut. Oh, the hermit from the original version. A flock of sturges. Don't want to encounter those guys. They're these kind of, they look like giant hummingbirds with super huge pointy beaks. They're nasty.
Yeah, I'll skip that.
Skip the sturges. The lizard folk. Sorry, lizard folk.
I might skip lizard folk as well.
Might have lizard men and
like
women.
A good place to
die?
Lose part of your party.
Right. Oh, look. Giant spider's nest. Don't camp out in the pine trees, kids. You'll encounter the giant spiders, though they have some cool treasure. Just saying. They did in the old school version. I don't know what they have here. Let's see if it'll tell us. Oh, after the fight. Oh, you get a card from the magic item deck. Not totally random, not prescribed.
Okay.
You get a random set. Well, we'll have to check those out here in a moment. Hobgoblin Patrol. All right, some additional random encounters, and there's your. I don't know if that's pre or post pack. There, you got your maps and your bedroll, and that's kind of pretty. That's a town backpack there.
Feels like that's a bard's backpack.
Right? Yeah, I don't think you're going into a dungeon with that sucker. All right, next book. Oh, now we're talking. The keep itself on the Borderlands. If only they would have some rumors in there. All right, good looking keep. I love the updated map. The original map, kind of overlay of the keep was definitely not quite that fancy. Got your barding there. Got the barn. You can hang out in the barn and you go to the keep. Not the greatest place unless you're trying to be a horse thief.
The singing, prancing lamb has really had my attention on the box for a while as well.
Go to the bank, get your suit of armor, spend all your hard-earned coin there. Tavern rumors. Bree Yark is a goblin phrase that means we surrender. That's a false one. If you go into the dungeon and you encounter some goblins, Bree Yark, they'll be like, oh, cool, we get to eat. I mean, they're all surrendering to us. Some additional quests you can get in the temple. A little more artwork in that one. Got your Knight of the Keep there on the back. That's kind of cool looking.
So this is a very nice looking keep. And again, not as familiar with some of the original there. Are you crawling around in the dungeons of the keep?
Well, no.
The keep nice looking.
The keep is your launching place. Your wayward travelers, adventurers looking for adventure, and hey, look, there's a keep and roast meat, and you go up and you get pissy with the town guards, and then they won't take you to introduce you to the noble whose daughter or cousin or whoever's lost in the caves of chaos. And
this makes more sense.
You go rescue him, and he'll give you some gold. And hey, there's a tavern, and you can go to the barn and get some horses to get out there or whatever. Or maybe if you don't have much coin, you can get a pack mule to carry all your stuff in case you survive and have lots of gold to bring back.
Got it. Thank you. I don't know why I was so confused.
Go to the temple and pray to the deity of your choice.
Ooh. And then you head into the Caves of Chaos, which we saw was on the other side across the wilderness.
Caves of Chaos. After you go through, meet the bandits and the hermit and the spiders when you camp out. So, all right, who we got on there now? If I knew this module, which I couldn't tell you I've ever played that too much or even run it. That kind of looks like a dragonborn, but I don't know about that. I think he's just a really fancy looking kobold.
Okay.
He's awful pretty and awful bent up to be a kobold, but I don't know what he is. That's interesting. He's got a cool looking sword. But yeah, the caves all had various interested, and we're kind of in this loop valley. Everybody can see as I loop my hands around. That was great. That's some good video there, Jim. All right. Oh, look at that. There's an illustration as soon as the camera focuses. There we go. Yeah, you can see there's different levels there.
Okay.
And a young GM who had read through some of the book and was like, all right, we're going to go to the caves. Pick a letter between A and K. And that was the door you went in and the adventure you had.
Okay.
Don't pick those down around the corner where the necromancer is and
Okay.
and the minotaur is.
It's not showing very clearly, but each of these actually says a letter.
And it gives you a letter and kind of suggests the level. Hey, level 1, start out here. You'll have goblins and kobolds and things like that. And that was why I kind of joked about 2+. There's a minotaur originally in the old module that was down there.
That all you first level players are going to
survive. Right. Everybody wants to go face the minotaur and his down in his maze, and then K, as I recall, goes into the necromancer's lair, and you get to those first level clerics get to learn you can't really turn all that stuff right off the bat. So, oh man, so for what the player's guide lacked in art, some of these maps they've really stepped up the level of detail there. You've got the kobold layer and your different encounter letters. Mm-hmm. Got your pit trap that was in there. You come in the door there and you're going to find that pit. That is obviously the first cave, Cave A. And when the trap goes off and they come in, again, got some pointers there for combat, what advantage, disadvantages. The Mephit layer, I think that's an update. That's not in the original. The Northic layer, I'm not sure what those critters are. I don't know what a Northic is. An evil wizard conduct foul experiments. Nothic. The goblins, oh yeah, there's plenty of goblins. The ogre, that didn't end up well for everybody. You have goblins and you have ogres. You obviously have hobgoblins. The shunned cave. The cult barrack, yeah, that's getting in there. The bugbear layer. Those will end poorly. The minotaur layer, see, not just, and the gnolls. So maybe that guy in the front was I don't know. I'm curious about that dude in the front. The Shrine of Evil Chaos. There's where the necromancers are. And if you survive all that, it's a nice picture of the treasure chest you might raid.
I have to say the maps coming home from Gen Con and the number of booths that had role-playing accessories, gridded items, map abilities. We talked about, we have that overlay puzzle pieces, the acrylic overlay.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I really appreciate these maps. Seem like there's something coming. I'm so excited. They seem so easy to grid out and enhance and make it easier to imagine the play with the map being present. And these seem much more easily and well thought out on a grid pattern for you to be able. Anybody could walk in and do that.
Right.
You don't have to make it up quite.
And I mean, the original one was blue and white. It literally looked like a blueprint, and it was the inside cover of the module. And had that picture, and it was a little small, especially if you're trying to recreate that, 3D printed fat dragon stuff. And, so we'll talk about that another time. All right, so we got some handouts here. We have a letter to the noble adventurers from the Castellan of the Keep. Some provisions for sale. We got Drunken Dragon menu. Donations are encouraged if you visit the temple. Other things you can buy from the traders.
Oh, neat. Those are nice pages.
So some nice handouts so you don't have to be like, how much is a cup of meat again?
Nobody has to flip all the way through the player's guide all over again to find
freaking
it.
copper pieces, Fred. How many times do I have to tell you?
So this is what I just oohed at. I saw it on the corner of the box when you took the last piece out.
I don't know if our shot's big enough to get all that, but that is a pretty map. So that's Cave A if you're picking by letters or doing it randomly and you're a young, inexperienced GM. Got your nice compass rose up there. Some boxes of treasure. More treasure and busted up some animal skins to sleep on.
Well, I know that pieces like this that go into having a physical representation of this game. There are purists and modernists, I'll call them.
What? Was it old grognards?
As we've talked about this being kind of an introductory box, this is so helpful to have. And you just talked about trying to recreate that teen tiny little one. This is so helpful to have full page maps.
So you gotta,
to be able to use.
And the maps are gorgeous. They have the right size grid on them.
Two-sided.
Two-sided. They're all double-sided. So
the missing caves here are on the insides of and other sides of a lot of the maps. Give me a hand.
Oh, there we go. Oh,
look at these rugs.
Upside down on it. Bump the camera. Man, I'm all over the place here. Yeah, that's pretty ornate. That's K. This is the evil necromancer's lair. And it looks every bit that. I mean, there's your good section right there. Got all the skull pieces. Got his ornate bed for when he sleeps. I didn't know necromancer slept. Guess everybody needs a little sleep. And you got your necromantic chapel there with the royal purple, and you got some bone deals there and your sacrificial altars. Man.
Those are nice looking maps.
Yeah, I mean
that's a really cool addition.
Thinking about the price of it, $50 is certainly a lot. If you're, I mean, that's one book if you're buying the 3-book set. All right, we got a map of the keep.
$50 on maps.
Yeah, so I mean,
this is a really good deal.
So I mean, that is a good value add. I'm a little underwhelmed, certainly by the player's guide, but the maps, and I mean, there's a ton of maps. There's each one of the different caves looks like it's lined out. There's some wilderness. So here's the ferns. There's the big map of the Caves of Chaos.
If you were new and getting an interest in this is enough to whet your appetite to know how to get started and play that you'd want to go buy the book.
Oh, I mean, and that is some of the intent. I'm sure historically in the basic box was not only to make what was, the original white boxes and some of original D&D was very all over the place, and you were hunting for rules. I mean, people would literally write letters to TSR and be like, hey, and this and that. I mean, that was before, the Dragon was even wildly available. There certainly was no, Reddit or message boards if you were the one that went and bought your basic box or went and, found some white box at a con and brought to your friends, it wasn't like they all had this reference material either. So having this old and jaded me is like, the maps are really cool. The books are kind of, again, in my opinion, now they have a lot of great, again, basic information, which you would want in the starter set. I was underwhelmed by both starter sets that 5th edition had, the box sets. We got both those, and the little guy, I think he got more use out of the second. It almost seemed like it was, the first one felt like it was kind of thrown together. And the second one, certainly the module in it, it was a mines kind of dungeon one. He ran that for his friends, and that one was a little more intuitive, and it was laid out, and just everything about it was cleaner. And I know when 5th edition came out, I mean, you bought the original module, the Tyranny of the Dragons one. The module was written before the rules were finalized, which I can't even imagine doing, but was like, okay, sure. And it played like that. I mean, it was very rushed. All the ones that are run. Yeah, but I mean, that's a big, beautiful color map. And I mean, you roll out to your average, let's say 13, 14, 12-year-old that's interested in getting into the game. You show them the original one, they'll be like, what is this crap? I mean, I'm playing World of Warcraft and all kinds of other crazy stuff.
Is very different.
Right. The competition is certainly a little different. So got your trail there, but again, nice gridded, so you can play, throw your minis on there. So that's those maps are gorgeous. I don't know if they justify the cost for a $50 box set, but certainly a really pretty, well done, look great. All right, so what do we have here? We got the next layer down. Okay, here we go. Okay. We have some game boards explaining your different characters. So we got the cleric there. Got your fighter. Oh, a couple different levels of the fighter. Let's look on the Let's look on the back here. So you don't even have to go to the trouble of leveling your character up.
What?
They've taken the work out of it and said, "Oh, your DM says you've leveled up. Don't worry about tracking every gold and copper piece there, kids." Or, "Who killed that goblin?" "Oh, it was Fred." No, I shot the fatal arrow. Steal and kill. So yeah, they upgrade it there to level 3 and got level 1 there, level 2 on the other side, and yep. So yeah, taking the fun out of leveling them up. So there's the cleric, the fighters.
Are these paper like the maps were? Like,
yeah, these are definitely a thicker copy there. Got our rogues. Don't say thief. The good old wizard. Let's have a look at the wizard spells, because I think that is one of the tougher concepts for new players, is managing spells and figuring out what all the different spells do and things. So
resting and prepping spells.
How to play a wizard, and you have to have your spell book. Do you need components? There's a lot that become very overwhelming, and I often, unless they're really interested in it, caution new players. I'm like, don't play a wizard. You're gonna there's a lot going on there. But if they're like really into it, it's like, oh, you don't mind getting in it. So
how are the spells?
So okay. Talks about concentration here, what that does. Yeah, I would hope that would be a little fleshed out. So those are okay. Again, they look pretty. They're on nice heavy paper there. It gives you your basic stuff, gives you what your bonuses are, your hit point maximum, speed, unless you're a dwarf, everybody goes pretty much, or halfling, everybody goes the same speed. So it's like, oh, that's a bunch of real estate that's wasted. There's a lot of white space on some of these. Again, fighters are much more basic than, you look at your cleric, and there's a lot less white space. Because again, clerics are spellcasters, and there's a little bit more to it there. So those are kind of nice, but it also it gets you out of the box, out of the way playing, but it takes away the fun of getting out a character sheet and filling in your pieces. And I know, again, some people that's very overwhelming for you. I mean, I can't just turn it on and hit play and I'm off, slaying dragons. Oh no.
So this is why you don't have to have a character sheet that tracks how much gold you have and how much you're spending.
Because you got tokens up to
tokens.
25 from 1 to 25 there. So
love it.
Yeah, some things to punch out. So I'm less excited about that. I'm a little more excited about this next piece here.
Okay.
So we got some monster tokens.
Ooh.
And I would definitely say those little guys, those dudes certainly look like kobolds there. Definitely not dragonborns. You got some goblins. Your giant centipede. There's, I thought that was a minotaur for a second, but he just looks like he's just mean. There's your baby copper dragon.
I'd be surprised if you have 4 minotaurs in a game. So
yeah, a lot of kobolds as usual, though.
That makes sense.
The back side. Oh, got the different. Oh, the letters designate which cave they're in.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. So got that over on the back, so you know what you're going on. So a few things to punch out there. All right. More of those. Oh, now we're talking. All right. Look at that owlbear there. He's a good looking dude.
There's your gelatinous cube.
Gelatinous cube there. There's always room for jello. A couple of the spiders you can meet there. There's your minotaur. He's pretty wicked looking.
That owlbear actually is really well done.
That's a good looking owlbear. I mean, I think it's the inside cover art. You're fighting an owlbear. In the Keep on the Borderlands and I mean, a classic iconic kind of picture there, and I was like, oh man, owlbear's right off the bat. And got your there's your sturges there, so I'll let you have a look at your sturges so you can see what wicked looking critter sturge, not where the motorcycles are. Sturge, not sturges.
Sturge.
Sturge.
Trying to make sturge plural.
All right, so you got your player characters here, it looks like. Got your cart to haul your loot, some trap pieces. Got your little cross pieces to put your dudes in. Got your spider web for when you go and meet your spiders there. You're okay.
Might get trapped in a web.
Yeah. On the back tells you what caves your terrain pieces go into. Your pile of skulls, your treasure chests. Looks like some kind of magic mace there. Got the got all your different players there.
Okay.
That dude looks like some kind of cavalier or paladin or something. He's fancy. He's fancy.
Fancy.
All right. So we already saw our gold piece tokens. Now we have power tokens.
I missed that part of the instruction book.
Yeah, I must have overlooked power tokens. I know what hit point tokens would be for. Those are how many you have, and I guess we have some kind of diamonds or gem tokens. Yeah, must be a few gems. Yeah, power tokens. Maybe that is for spell casting points or something.
Oh, maybe.
Interesting. All right, lots of our punch outs there. All right, little divider.
Okay, I was concerned that we were only halfway through the box, and I was like, how many more flat pieces of paper are in there?
So this seems dumb, but that's a value add I really could get into.
It is.
Not every game, and our friends at Mayfair will be glad to sell you some add-on pieces there, but you're not having to raid mom's sandwich bags. Mom, you need to get the good Ziploc bags. These knockoff ones, they're the old-fashioned fold-over sandwich bags. I don't even know if they make those anymore. Comes with bags for your tokens there. That's a nice, again, for $50 you would expect that, but
all right, as a value add for me is the whole
all right, so you want to
setup. Just bring the box over.
Get the whole box out and show you the little tray there.
I mentioned at the beginning organizing your game and organizing your boxes, and the number of games that we've purchased, $50 or higher, big box sets like this, that don't have an actual this is where all the pieces go inside, drive me nuts.
And thank God
really
for
excited about this part.
Thank God for digital cameras and cell phones, so you can be like, okay, take a picture of how everything came out of the box,
Right.
so you know to put it in. The only problem is you're so excited and you're halfway through it and you're like, oh crap, how am I going to get all that back in the box? All right. So let's see here. Looks like we have a bunch of different cards here. I'll let you open those up real quick for me.
A tear thing, like.
Yeah, but I don't have fingernails. See, I'm sorry, folks. Made sure they weren't all gritty before I did an unbox. Okay, so we have a combat tracker. I know. Yeah, you're good. Yeah, please open that. Combat tracker there. So you have your initiative, the combatant, your hit points, and your conditions. So that's a nice DM value add that I know. Certainly for years and years we made our own. I know. Dungeon Trackers has has little cards you hang on your GM screen. Has a set of cards like that, but that's a nice little value add. Nice pack of those there. Got anything else under here? Is this just there is more good stuff. All right. Okay. So let's flip through these real quick. Okay, so we have some background cards. So our acolyte background there tells you what spells he has, what's needed to play. Devoted to service the temple, or criminal, entertainer. So I guess you can come up with your own background so you don't have to, where are you from? I don't know. I wanted to go adventuring.
Right.
I was sick of the farm life, although I think they do have a farm background.
There was
now.
a farmer.
Yeah, there you go. Your typical, well, I didn't want to work for the king anymore. And I got your soldier background. Okay, and then we have our species cards here. Tell you a little bit about our friends. Okay, so your dwarf is size medium. He's got dark vision. Of course he does. Resilience of the dwarves, dwarven toughness, and stone cutting ability. Got your elf there. She just maybe that's Legolas's sister. There we go. A couple different flavors. Got your halflings. All right, let's see here. Humans.
Fancy human.
Humans are. Yeah, he's man. That dude's fancy. Why did he leave his life? He must wanted the adventure. I don't know. All right. We got some magic item cards. Oh, the boots of the elven kind. Don't let Pierce get those.
So it had talked earlier that you could draw from treasure, right? You draw a card.
So these are your magic items. Wondrous, the dread helm. That dude's cool looking. Dread helm. The eyes of the eagle. Potion of healing. Yeah, those will come in handy, especially if you forgot to get a cleric. Resistance. Firebell. I believe that's fireball. There we go. Burning hands. Detect good and evil.
So I appreciate across the bottom there, the cards are labeled a little bit what they are.
Yep.
Right.
And so yeah, so this is a spell card.
Easier to put back away.
And good berry is a good one. You can create these little healing berries.
Oh, nice.
As I say, level 1. I thought that was a cantrip, but maybe they've updated that. Grease. All right. Guidance. Now there's some. There's a cantrip. Okay. Yep. So I guess guidance is a cantrip, and they've upgraded Goodberry to first level. Oh, it's been a while since I played a magic user. That's what the character sheet's for. Okay, so you got all your spell sheets. Magic missile. Not quite as fun as fireball, but still pretty good. Shocking grasp. Thunder wave. Well, that's a good one. All right. So we had spell cards.
Mm-hmm.
Magic item cards.
Right.
A couple more of those. Then we have our species cards that tell you a little bit about our core species, the humans, the halflings, the elves, and the dwarves. Give you a little bit about information about those. And then, of course, your character backgrounds if you're not feeling terribly creative. Oh, there's one more. There's your dwarf there to go with him. So you got your good old farmer. I'm super curious. I got to read the farmer one. You grew up close to the land. Years of tending animals and cultivating the earth rewarded you with patience and good health. Oh, well, not I left the farm because it was boring. You have patience and good health from mucking all those stalls. All right.
There you go. With cheerful attitudes.
Oh, that's a good one. All right. I'll let you undo that one there, and I'm going to get to the fun part. See, they're really thinking you need to get your Dungeons and Dragons franchise branded dice bag there. They don't hook you up with the good old fashioned little felt bag or anything there. All right. We'll get those guys out there. All right. So we got your good old D6. That's a nice looking. Let's see how the old D20 rolls. Oh my gosh, off the camera. Try it again. It was definitely not a good roll then. It does not want to be on camera. Oh, 15. Oh, nope. 12 is upside down. That'll work. These are all right. I kind of like they're good in high contrast. Got your red and your big white letters for those of us that have old tired eyes. Give you a 2d20 so you can roll advantage there. Oh, I rolled it once. Good thing that was off camera. Nobody wanted to see that. Some of your regular good old-fashioned chance cubes. Caltrop. There's 2 more in there. Oh, there's your percentile and one more.
Is the 4-sided die called a caltrop?
Yeah, you throw caltrops down, an old tool of the ninjas or medieval warriors, and you step on it, and it impedes your travel. Huh. That's why I like the triple fours, where you get the 12-sided with 1 through 4 on it 3 different times.
Yes.
Yeah.
Those are nice. Those are really very readable.
Very readable. My old eyes are not even struggling too much on the D20s.
Very
good high contrast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Those
Not
are
bad.
nice.
That's a nice
We're
addition.
Have to come up with the old. All right, so
Do you want to hand me those while
let me
you
give you those there. All right, so what do we have here? Okay.
The first 3 cards there are very classic board game kind of cards.
Those are getting washed out in the light there.
Say,
Too much light.
There you go.
There we go. All right. So on your turn, you can move up to your speed. You can take 1 action. You can communicate. I mean, they've got the basics down. Move, shoot, and communicate.
Right.
You can also interact with things, or you can take your bonus action. That's a whole different story. Hey, look, here's those actions you can take. And, of course, the first one is attack. Move, shoot, or communicate. There you go. If you're not doing one of the other 2, you should be doing the third one. Dodge, help, disengage, dash. Dash is always a good one. You can influence by making a charisma check.
Ooh.
You can use magic. It's like shooting or moving or communicating. You can ready an action that you define the trigger. And I think that was something we always wanted back in the day, but there was not a rules mechanism for it. Ready your action. As soon as the goblin pops out from behind cover, I want to shoot him in the head.
Yes.
It's your turn, and if you don't see him, you need to move so you can see him.
Or an action to ready your spell, or
Right.
why am I spending a whole action if I know I'm walking into this?
Right.
Agreed.
Yeah,
It's
so
nice to have a
that's a
mechanism for
nice one.
that.
Instead of saying, "Well, I'm just going to hold my action until things change," you get the first initiative, and you know something's going on because the arrow shot out of the darkness, but you don't have any targets. Well, run into the darkness and see if you can be the target for the next arrow. So that's good. So that's, I think, again for new players. There's a couple of those, so everybody you can have four of those out on the table. And everybody can know, what do I do on my turn again? Or can I do this on my turn again for the fifth or sixth time? So that's
those are
that's
a nice
kind of
addition.
some of those, and you get a lot of the board games that have that. Here's the basics of what you can do on your time.
Yes, I think that's very true. I am always looking. I was like, I forgot. Tell me again how many steps do we have to take on this turn? What order do these steps come in? Those types of cards are so useful and helpful for me. So I find it great to include that.
And until you've played a few times, like and especially if you're a new player, you're a younger player, and you're like, what do we do again? Like, and you don't necessarily get the concept, but you're interested.
It's the rhythm of the game again, right? It's how's the rhythm of this game pace out?
So that's a nice little add-on there, helpful. And I know we're playing some of the complicated games, like we were playing Nemesis a couple weeks ago, and that has your, here's the order of your turn. This happens, you do this, you check for that, you do this other thing, end of turn, wash, rinse, and repeat. You go back to the beginning.
Yes.
All right, so we got some monster cards here. So we got the animated sword. Oh, your ubiquitous bandits. All right, the bandit, a medium or small humanoid. Those halfling bandits, sneaky little buggers.
So I like this matches, a lot of these match then the token.
Yes, and they have the same picture on there.
Where they're going to be then.
And it even tells you that's what the token looks like. It's the little circle from the picture there. So that's a nice little value add. And gives you what the challenge rating is. As much as I like the challenge rating, I've always found it misleading. It's like, well, a party of 3 to 5 characters of this level. It's not like, not that you have a whole lot of 1v1 combat, but it was like, I know, I like it, but I don't like the way it's implemented, I guess would be what I'd say.
So there's a Nothic in there as well.
Oh.
Since we asked what a Nothic was earlier.
Well, hang on, I want to check this dude out.
Okay.
There's your secret cult leader. Ivlis?
I'll go with Ivlis.
And I'll tell you the other nice thing I like as well, and this harkens back to my love of the original art. Down here in the corner, in little tiny print, but nevertheless, it credits the artist.
That is really nice.
And I think as much as some of the history and things we looked at, where the artist did not get as much credit and didn't necessarily always get to own their art and do some of the things like that. And it's like, oh, this wasn't created by some nameless, faceless AI. Oh, so, Diana, Corley, sorry, Diana, if I butchered your name there,
Nor were they
but
all
she
drawn
painted that
by
as well.
Gary Gygax. Like, I think there's kind of a twofold to that.
Right.
So that is really nice to credit. And as much as you're like, well, there's not much art in the basic book, look at the amount of art that, like, this is where they put it. They just moved it to these really nice cards. This is also, let me ask you a philosophical question.
Oh, gonna get deep here, folks. Buckle up.
Do you think some of this is the influence from WotC with Magic the Gathering?
Absolutely. And you can see the board gamification a little bit in some of this.
That's a Hasbro.
I mean, I think there is the original box set that was never the thought. Because they were putting the white box was a box set. But that was more, War Games came in a box with all these punch outs.
Sure.
So if we don't put our books
in a box,
and weird polyhedral dice and whatever in a box, people won't take us seriously. They're not just going to go buy some random book. So I think some of it harkens to that. I do find this interesting. The gelatinous cube is now a jelly cube. An insatiable block of ooze.
Why is it not a gelatinous cube anymore? Do people not pronounce gelatinous?
I think there is that white is harsh.
Okay, flat. There you go.
There we go. That's, man, that is a loaded commentary there.
Okay.
I mean, when I was
Perhaps
12,
beyond today's podcast.
right, when I was 12, could I pronounce gelatinous cube? Not the first couple times. My mom or my aunt or whoever else I convinced into sitting down and rolling some weird shaped dice with me to play this weird game, or like, it's gelatinous, boy. Got our night. I got our I'm not even going to try that one because everybody pronounces it differently, and every time you say it, somebody's like, oh, you're wrong. It's pronounced this way. All right. Who are we looking for? A Nothic.
A Nothic. Check this thing out.
All right. Now, I think I've got a miniature of one of these dudes.
Really?
But again, on the bottom, it's that teeny tiny little writing, and I don't ever remember. Probably flipped right by him like, that's dumb. Where's the drow? Show me some dragons. How about a demon? All right, the Nothic. Let's read about the Nothic. Look at all the pretty pictures there, and
There we go.
some of the others, and don't look at my my washed out Nothic here. All right, so he is a medium aberration, consumed by their thirst for forbidden knowledge. Nothics are cursed lore seekers transformed by secrets never meant to be known. The bodies of these former scholars are warped into otherworldly shapes, each with a head dominated by a gigantic, unblinking eye. I'm not gonna lie. Again, I think I have a miniature of it. And I'm sure I flipped past that page. I don't know that it's been renamed, like the Jelly Cube.
No,
Maybe, is
but
that because how popular Jelly Roll is?
all of a sudden I
the
really
Jelly
want to
Cube.
create an adventure where there's a scholar who's beginning to turn into one of these, and you have to like keep him from knowing.
Stop him from
More
knowing there's
secrets that
unimaginable
should be known,
unknown names.
right?
And see, I was just thinking the adventure should be, you have to there's this, wizard's college or something, or there's or some great, storied halls of learning off in the mountains that hasn't been heard from, and the last few, emissaries that went there never returned, and what's going on, and they uncovered the book of unknown things, and you have to go and battle them and keep this knowledge from entering the world, and bringing about the cataclysm or something. There's a campaign right there. All right, Ogre Nothics. Oh man, I'm all fired up now. I see your ogre, and I give you the ogre zombie.
Oh, good gracious!
Lord Almighty! Oh, look at that. That's a good-looking owlbear.
Good-looking owlbear.
It's a good man. I'm staring over on my wall there, my baby bestiary.
It's a good barn owl there, anyhow.
That's right, man. He's a handsome fella. Peral. He's an infamous bard.
Oh.
A red dragon whirling. Skeletons. All right. The steam method. There's your Sturge. There's a much bigger, better picture of your Sturge. Sturges. Notorious clinging bloodsuckers. Hey, wait, it doesn't say they went to law school. Oh, shots fired. All right, sorry. Moving along. I apologize to all the lawyers out there. I'm sure you're wonderful. And, of course, ending on a zombie. Your ultimate favorite.
My favorite. I'm not
Your
a zombie
favorite.
fan.
All right, who do we have here? Oh, we got some NPC cards. All right.
Again, a somewhat advanced concept for a new GM to be playing. So I see the advantage of an NPC card. Let's make it easy and accessible. Like some of this box set is making D&D accessible to the masses.
It is meant as a starter. And I mean, even somebody that's been playing for decades, I'm like, oh, a Nothic. Again, I don't know if they renamed it. I don't know if I just passed over him because he wasn't a drow or, a lich or something, or he wasn't prominently featured on the cover of the Fiend Folio. I mean, that's very, very possible. And Nothics have been around and be like, Gary Gygax is rolling over in his grave, be like, oh my gosh, this guy's been playing since the Red Box in the 80s and he doesn't know what a Nothic is? Good God. What's going on there? But yeah, the cards are great, and if you don't know what, the first time you ever hear of a kobold, and you go in the, basic level 1 cave, and you're like, what the hell is a kobold?
That's true.
Hey, here's a picture of a kobold. Hey, and certainly, And again, I must do some deep research on the Nothic. We'll be back with you folks. Maybe it's some great creature of lore, or maybe it's some nonsense that Dave Arneson made up, or who knows where it comes
Picking on
from.
Dave Arneson.
Oh, and he made some great monsters. I just again, but it was nonsense until it's published in a book and became the world's most popular role playing game. All right, so NPCs, and again, I think a lot of DMs starting out, monsters are, if not easy, straightforward. And your characters that are sitting right there at your table across from you are, if not easy, straightforward. And NPCs, and it's like, okay, there's Fred the barkeep that will give you a bit of a rumor, and there's the serving wench that brings out your meat and your mutton, shank or whatever, and everybody else is a monster or some nameless, faceless, And so these are great because they flesh those out. They tell you a little bit about them, what you need them, how to role play that person.
I think this is where I think video games helps a new generation looking at this. Video games have NPCs. And you go visit the NPC to get a side quest or a mission, or there are lots of those that exist in video games. They can be challenging in a role-playing game just to make up who they are.
Right, and I think that's, coming off the top of your head, like, oh, tell me more about the stable boy who really is going to be the squire, or who has the quest for me, like how you play that as the GM, because you're not just, playing the monsters and rolling the dice for them and being some of the flavor in the world. Oh, you're in Gently Rolling Hills, or it's a dark dungeon.
Like, again, the beginning of D&D, an NPC character like that, tabletop war games didn't have that.
Right.
Video games didn't exist at the time.
Yep.
So I do think that makes an NPC more accessible, but it is nice to give them, this is how you could play this just from this piece of information.
Right.
You don't have to make it.
And I love, like our friend Cornflower here, the halfling barn hand. It tells you, this spunky stable hand isn't afraid to get her hands dirty. Okay, so now we know that she's more than just she obviously has a face because you have the little card with it. All right, she's the barn hand, stable girl, whatever. She loves animals. Well, I would hope so if she's working in the stable. Maybe this is punishment and she's been sitting there.
True.
Idiomatic, Cornflower likes to use animal idioms. Busy as a bee, chicken out, hold your horses. So it's told you how to role play this person. They're going to make a lot of bad animal puns.
Right.
And they love those animals. Let's see here. Oh, here we go. We got Haldrick here. Haldrick's the dwarf innkeeper. Okay. Oh, there's no room at the inn. Go away, boy. Oh, you have gold. Well, how much gold do you have? Okay. There you go. How basic is that? He's jovial and accommodating. You got plenty of room at the inn. Come on in. A fast friend to anyone who visits his inn. He's an Epicurean. Good food and drinks are the key to his heart. Get him liquored up and give him a nice mutton shank, and he'll tell you anything. He's got rumors. He's an overseer. He advises all the inn's basic necessities. So if you're looking to sell those clean sheets you stole from the necromancer, he'll definitely fence them off to you as those luxury amenities. Otherwise, he's you stayed in that Holiday Inn once as your kid, and the person that checked you in was kind of distracted because they were playing something on their phone. Well, that's the only innkeeper you've ever experienced. Mm-hmm. So I think those are, again, great, and for those first time DMs, or ones that are like, oh, I'm struggling to come up with some flavor about old Cornflower who works in the stable.
Right.
The Elven Hermit.
Disturbed by the necromancer sheets.
He had kind of a swank looking bedroom.
Bed in the map.
I bet you those things were silk. I'm just saying.
Sure, I'm
just saying.
Okay.
Well, after you defeat him and his minions, you got the half elf hermit there, one of the Borderlands' oldest and wisest residents, banished from the keep for his crimes that she did not commit. Bad reputation, wrongfully accused, doesn't trust strangers because they wrongfully accused poor old Xanthi there of doing something that Xanthi didn't do, and got her kicked out of the keep.
Man.
That's awful. Poor thing. Maybe we'll go on a quest to get her back. All right. Oh, these are a little too white. These are going to glare like crazy.
Okay.
All right. So these are equipment pieces. Acid, I don't remember that in my basic kit. Antitoxin, that'll be good if you face those spiders. Ball bearings. Now, why didn't they have this? Originally you got a 10-foot pole in your ladder. Now, imagine a group of adventurers back in the day, and they're carrying around their ladder and their 10-foot pole. That seems convenient and easy, right? Are y'all house painters or adventurers? Well, you fall in that 10-foot pit, you're going to need that 10-foot ladder, but it's kind of unwieldy to carry around.
Seems, yeah.
Got your breastplate there.
So I'm a little curious how some of these cards and equipment would play with the character board. Because these are not things you always need. I'm going to borrow the breastplate one for
Yeah, but I mean, your cultist robe, those sound like something after you defeat the necromancer. You got a bunch of those you want to fence. Daggers, great swords, you always need those. Hand crossbow, must be some drow around.
But you do need these cards in conjunction with the player boards because it says armor class. It's 14 plus dex, max 2. While wearing this armor, you have the armor class on the other side of this card. Add your dexterity modifier up to a maximum of 2. You must subtract your dexterity modifier if it's a negative. First of all, how many times have you answered a player, what does this go with? What do I roll against? Where's it located? This seems very helpful.
What's a healer's kit look like? Oh, well, there you go.
There you go.
How do I use it? Oh, well, that's easy. You utilize an action. You're doing something. You use the kit to stabilize an unconscious creature within 5 feet of you that has 0 hit points. No wisdom check is required. Roll a 1d10. On a 1, the kit is expended. You must return this card to the equipment deck.
There you go.
I've never seen a vial of holy water. Well, now you have. Lantern. I mean, there may be some kids out there. A lantern? What's a lantern?
This is also very true.
Got your leather armor, your longsword, healer's kit, a mace. Not everybody knows what a mace looks like. Or a maul. Looks like a warhammer, but what do I know? No critique there. Oh, more healing potions. Different colors. Oh, that's going to throw you off. A rapier.
That's a really good point that you're just making. There is potentially a swath of folks who won't know things like what specifically does a rapier look like?
Right.
Why is a rapier different than a broadsword?
Or a longsword.
Or a longsword. And why does it have different like damage classes or have to use different skills to use it? And like in our games, we ask the GM because the GM had the player's guide that had all that information, right, and he knew how to look it up and know it all. But if you have a set of GMs who may be younger, who may be new to this concept,
right,
a rapier didn't come up in their general schooling, reading course of life.
And I remember when I was, again, a teenager. I wasn't a kid, 13, 14, and we're playing D&D, and somebody had a glaive. What the heck's a glaive? Right. What's a halberd? I mean,
right?
we knew what morning stars and maces and crossbows, sure, and, broadswords and longswords. We even know what bastard swords were, but that was like, and I forget which one of the books it was. It was probably AD&D, had a whole page where it had all these different pole arms, which because originally in basic edition, I think it was just called a pole arm. Well, what the hell's a pole arm? Well, it's a big stick with some sort of bladed weapon on the end of it. And each, some had a pike on it, some had a hammer, some had a hammer and an axe blade on it. And there were as many different kinds of them as there were esoteric French words to describe them. And it's like, oh, good God.
The little guy's got a book where the bottom of like 3 pages have different pikes on right, them named. And
all these different pole arms. We didn't know what the heck a pole arm was. I was like, oh, okay. And again, we didn't have some cool glossary probably that defined a pole arm, or it may have said something really good. It's a long pole with a weapon on the end of it.
Not very helpful.
Yeah.
6 of these have weapons on the end of
them.
Cool
beans. I got that. And then you find out, there's 50 different kinds of, at least 50 different kinds, all with some different, this is a glaive guy slam. And I'm like, sure it is. And I'm like, Oh, the axe has a little hook on the end of it as opposed to a hammer on the backside. Oh, this one's got a pike on the top and it has, the front and the back look just the same. Okay, you folks had way too much time on your hand designing all these different crazy pole arms for various medieval warfare.
So yeah, I like the advantage then of having those things described, and not just described in text, but you have a picture of it, you have a use, you have what you're going to use off of your character sheet
Oh,
on that. I think there's a huge, I like this a lot. It I've said the word too many times. It makes it very accessible.
well, and that's great because not everybody grew up with their crazy parents having played D&D since since the early 80s or whatever, and I think with the widespread popularity of 2014 fifth edition and the popularity of Stranger Things, bringing it into a new generation and exposing them to it, or reminding, people that were our age that, played in college or played in high school and then lost touch with those friends and got busy with all the, vagaries of adulting, 101, 201, advanced
Right.
adulting, and now they have a few bucks to go buy a $50 box set, or their kids are like, hey, we want to try this out. Well, do I want to go buy $150 worth of books to get all three, or let's start out with a smaller investment and buy this $50 box set that has everything you need to play Dungeons and Dragons in it. It's got, dice. It has character sheets. It's got your players and GM's guide. It's got maps. It's got, some rudimentary adventures. And even, if you play all the way through the Caves of Chaos, it's got some, a pretty detailed starter adventure. And it intermixes, hey, here's how to do it if you've forgotten or you never knew in the first place and you're just learning.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's a lot of good things about it, and I'm not, I'm certainly not one of those old, well, if it's not, the advanced set and you didn't play the original white box with Gary at Gen Con 3, then you just don't belong. I mean, I don't want to have any gatekeeper. I want everybody to play Dungeons and Dragons and to play role playing games because I think they're fabulous and they have a lot of value for people of all walks and stretches. So I don't want to seem too crusty and curmudgeony about that. Oh, well, it's not like mine was. They do a lot of things better. There's some things that I'm like, really? Why do we have to rename the Jelly Cube? And again, that's in the grand scheme of things to argue and fight about. That's really a basic one.
It is, but it seems
Yeah,
off.
I'm like, really? Okay. But no, I think again for the value, I think you're right with accessibility. It helps teach you because I mean the basic set, for as basic as it was, it didn't teach you how to run the game. And I know listening to some of the histories and stuff, one of the problems were people didn't understand how to run the game. Having a marshal, well, when you play, Monopoly, there's the guy that plays the banker, but he's not the DM.
Right.
You might, get somebody and name them the realtor and they get to, hand out the pieces of real estate as those go on, but they're not marshaling you through the game. So that concept was new as well, and even in war games didn't necessarily have that. It's like, oh, you're the Russians or you're Napoleon's army, and you're going to get your little lead minis and push them across the table and roll some dice and see who wins out in the Battle of Waterloo.
I think you referenced it a little bit too in thinking about like Stranger Things is not just introducing D&D to a younger generation, but reminding a generation who maybe did play. Maybe they weren't part of their high school's Hellfire Club, but they played with a group in high school, but somebody else GM'd it.
Right.
And as they've grown up, they've lost that GM. There can be that feeling of, listen, man, I already
I
got a
can't take that
job
on.
and
Right.
I got a family and I'm already coaching sports and I don't have time to go read 14 books to figure out how to play this. This box set makes that really easy to say, all right, buddies that we used to do this, let's just sit down and we can figure it out because this makes it really easy to figure out. And we have a concept of what we're playing anyhow. This makes it really easy for me to figure out how to DM and run it.
And when I got the basic set, I saw it at Walden Books. And I don't think I knew anyone else or like, hey, you want to play D&D? I was the straw that stirred that drink. I got the box set. I must have looked at it or rubbed the price off it enough times. My parents finally bought me one for Christmas, way back in the day, and then I had enough geeky friends that oh, you like Star Wars and Lord of the Rings and you watch I mean that predated the D&D cartoon. Even there wasn't even that entry level to it. Say, oh, and I mean I don't even think that really awful original Lord of the Rings movie was out. I mean there was not a lot. I mean there were the Conan movies. And those were, I don't know, those were much more salacious, I think, and certainly viewed in a different way as, sword and sorcery and high fantasy. Those were a little lower fantasy, maybe middle class fantasy even. But there just wasn't that reference, and it was like, okay, so I played through the basic set and I wore it out. I literally wore it out. And you had mud dice then. I mean, you rolled the dice enough time. I think I still have one of them. They were yellow, and you colored it in. It came with a crayon to color the dice in, of all crazy things. And you rolled them enough times, and all the corners and the edges started to get mushed down because they were such low quality plastic. And it's like, oh, you go to Walden Books. It's like, well, wait a minute. I'm playing the basic set, and the expert set came out then next Christmas, and got that in the blue box. And it's like, oh, there's more going on here. We can go outside and we can go, find secret temples. And there was dinosaurs and like all kinds of other crazy things you could encounter. And I'm like, well, that never occurred to me. And then, you're back at, again, Walden Books, who's, sadly long gone, is like, well, what's advanced Dungeons and Dragons? I've played basic. I've played expert. I've worn those books out. I'm like, what's these? And those had, and the art in those was, I mean, you couldn't open the box set in, the bookstore and look at that. You could flip through those, and the DM's guide, it had some kind of racy pictures in the back. And, my 13, 14-year-old brain's like, that's kind of cool. And the cover art was just unbelievable. But I mean, you're looking at some of the, the Mount Rushmore of gaming artists on some of those books. Yes. And there was always more. And now, you talk about accessibility, but it's like, oh, I want to know more about D&D. Well, you open up your favorite web browser and you type in Dungeons and Dragons, and Google or whoever is going to give you pages and pages and pages and pages of everything there is. And you're like, well, what is there besides D&D? I don't know that. And it was like, oh, there's Top Secret, a TSR product at the time. It's like, okay, we can play D&D as spies. And there was Gamma World and Star Frontiers. I'm like, oh, like, can you have laser swords? Because Star Wars was kind of a thing back in the day. And now there's, I'm just kind of looking
Again,
at the shelf behind you, the zillion different role-playing books. Like, that just was not as accessible because, I mean, there weren't as many. And certainly look at the history and some of the ones that were out there. Now there's so many. It's like, oh, well, I want to play something like D&D, but I want it more brutal. Oh, well, try Shadow Dark. You want something more gonzo, Dungeon Crawl Classics.
I want to play all zombies.
Right. All flesh must be eaten. I want to, do it in a post-apocalyptic world. There's rifts for you. I want to, oh, well, I saw this crazy thing called the Electric State. I want to go play in that world. Oh, we got you hooked up. So there are so many more options now, and role playing in general is more as accessible. But this is a great, I hate to say entry drug, but it's like, here they should be handing these things out. The ones that come back and buy more, those are the ones that are buying $150 worth of hardcover books, or going, I want to go to Gen Con and play with not just my neighbors or at my favorite local game store if you're lucky enough to have one, but people from all over the world. And then you wander through the dealer hall and be like, oh, there's only, 10,000 different role-playing games and systems and ways to, do the same thing. There's got to be one that appeals to you.
Right. And definitely a different conversation. We've had the conversation before. D&D, WotC, TSR, Hasbro, and what the future of that looks like. I think this becomes a really nice blending of all those things. And so hopefully this has kind of that impetus and that start of, okay, let's find its footing again.
Mm-hmm.
And let's find a good home and a good respect for an IP and a product that really does have a huge following, that just celebrated its 50th year, that has the potential to carry forward, because it is a really great entry. It is a really great enter in here and you can stay here, or you can enter in here and explore an entire world that exists somewhere else.
Right. I mean, 70,000 people don't show up at Gen Con because they want to play pinball in the hallway.
True.
I mean, Gary and Dave and a few other, associated geeks and some really talented artists wrapped this thing up and put it in a box. And at some point they were smart enough to get into Walden Books, so it was accessible to the masses, and you didn't have to live in Lake Geneva or go to the horticultural center to buy one off a card table that was assembled in the basement in some dungeon, literally.
So I don't think we rank things when we open them usually. Do we do that?
I don't know that we do it. I mean,
do you give this a thumbs up, a thumbs down, a medium?
um you know I I see, and again, trying not to be, grouchy old man or grognard and whatever. And and again, certainly not gatekeeping. I see so many things that I either invented or innovated or saw other people doing, and I said, "Oh, I want to do that too." And as technology in many ways has come along and allowed that, it's like I would have loved to have had monster cards when I was writing adventures, so I'm not writing everything down.
Right.
Or, sticking bookmarks in every page so I can go and, oh, they asked some crazy question about what's his this, that, or the other stat that I didn't think was important at the time. I love that idea. And I mean, they've even come out with the spell cards, and they've got the monster cards, and I've got a couple different iterations of those. Back in the day, I had, when you started to be able to get, digital copies of them, go in and cut and paste those into a document. Well, now I have all the stat blocks cut out and pasted in this document that I can print out. Well, it turns out not everybody has a printer. I guess I'm weird. I have a couple printers, right?
Yes.
That blows me away, but I'm old again. And so those things, the having the stat cards and that, there's nothing like, and I remember it fondly, writing out your character sheet on a piece of notebook paper.
Mm-hmm.
There was just nothing that beat that. And the hours upon hours I've spent designing character sheets for different games and, Excel, and making, so, they can change it so I can run con games. So I think there's a lot of cool things. I would have loved to have seen a book of blank character sheets. I get
Yes.
what they're doing with the character, with the class cards or whatever, but it makes it feel like a board game,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to something that comes alive. And it's like, oh, here's your 6 backgrounds. And that's great. Not everybody is creative and has a fabulous imagination and can come up with, pages and pages of text on why that, Bob left the farm and decided to become a, cleric of Odin or whatever. And that's fine. And so that, again, gives you that entryway, and hopefully they take that and they build from that, as opposed to like, oh, this is a really fancy board game without a board,
Mm-hmm. No, I agree.
So again, I like a lot of the innovation. I like seeing some of those pieces. Oh, here's the stats for your, silver dagger +1 of, kobold slaying. Yeah, everybody at the end of the night, after they're, soaked in Mountain Dew and Doritos and lousy pizza, wants to jot that down. Here's a card, Bob.
Mm-hmm.
Write that on your sheet, or, tuck that in your folder or whatever you have. And now you have that, or you get it in the middle of the game and you're able to figure out what it is. You can slap it down and off you go.
I agree. And it is very hard, given the number of years we have worked on games to be run at a con. And I had that feeling as we walked away from Gen Con this year. I was like, oh man, there are so many booths that are selling innovations
Right.
and handout things that I watched you toil for hours to create for yourself and toil for years to modify to create for yourself. And now they're just selling them at booths so everybody can have it.
Right. And I'm like, damn it, why didn't I have this? But I can't be mad that more people have the cool toys I had and didn't have to, pour hours. And it was a labor of love, but, I could have been running more games then, or, painting all those miniatures that'll never get painted or something like that.
So I think taking the box for what it is, it sets it out. It's a starter set. It is an introduction to something. I think there are so many things it did really well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm concerned with the 45 plus minute playtime.
Yeah,
you could get through something in 45 minutes, but most role players' experience is an expectation that it's a couple hours.
Right,
It is
at least.
The 45 minutes also makes it feel like they're attempting to make it a board game.
Yeah, and I
could you get through one of the maps? Could you get through one of the modules in 45 minutes? Maybe. But are you taking the time and having fun with it if you did that?
Right.
Or are you rushing through it goal-oriented to get to your next checkpoint?
Right. Are you trying to get a little dopamine hit and somebody gives you a shiny card and mission accomplished? So yeah, it's all how you use it. Yeah, I struggle with the 45 minutes and it's like, okay, have 5. I'm like, okay, if you're 6th buddy, it's there's enough cards for 6 of you if you want to play. Again, as a GM, I get the more people it gets, the harder that gets and the more downtime there is. And I know we talked about, sometime in the future talking about group dynamics and that in media and role-playing games. A worthy topic. So, yeah, I think there is way more good than bad or things that I would question, and I have to really look in the mirror and think, well, why am I questioning that? Is it because, oh damn, I wish I'd have had that? Maybe a little bit, but again, trying not to begrudge some of those others. I think there's enough other commentary you can make on WotC and Hasbro and some of the things they've done or not done. But I think overall, I said if you have not played Dungeons and Dragons, you're interested, somebody that's 12 plus, if they're interested and they're 9 plus, I think this book's fine. It certainly doesn't have some of the exciting stuff the old AD&D books had. Is a worthy purchase and gives you everything you need to get started. And if you're truly that interested, this is the bike with training wheels on it. And when you take the training wheels out there's a zillion other books and games and dice and playing aids and miniatures and 3D printers that may show up in your future.
And I think it's a really good value at the price point it's at. Like the number of adventures you get in it, the quality of the cards that are in it, you're getting a lot of very good quality playable pieces for the price that it was.
Yeah, I mean, the production quality is good. I think there's some really cool artwork. I wish there was a little more in the book, but I get that they put a little more in some of the cards and stuff. So like I can see some of that trade-off, but I'm like, oh man, I want more art in the book. There was a lot of text heavy pieces. And I mean, they had, call out boxes and things like that, explaining things more deeply, but yeah, but I mean, overall, I think it's great. And again, if there's, if they're 14 or 40 and they're like, man, I want to try out D&D, but I don't want to spend $150 and buy, all 3 books and, try to get my buddies together. And it's like, oh, that'll come. This is a great entry point, and you could play the bejeepers out of this and have a lot of fun and even go on your own. But yeah, I definitely think it's worthwhile. It's well done. And definitely a good, again, it's a starter set. It's not the expert edition even. I like that they don't call it the basic edition.
Yes.
I know back in the day, like, oh, it's basic edition. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that may not be for you because you're already playing Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, or you got some, crazy saddle stapled white cover, one. But yeah, definitely worthwhile. Some cool pieces in it. Some of the cards are just downright beautiful. Some really cool art. I like how they call things out. They make it functional. Yeah, I definitely think it is it's a good product. And if you're looking to get your start, and you're like, oh, where do I go? Go here.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to know more, man, there's lots of buttons you can press to learn more. And if not, you can grind this sucker into the ground until the corners are worn, and I'm pretty sure your dice will outlast all of us. So you won't have those mud dice.
So speaking of buttons to push, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment below. We would love to hear, where do you stand on D&D? Are you a novice? Have you never played? Are you looking to get back into a set of games? Is this something that just never had occurred to you before? We'd love to hear about it and would love to have a discussion. We certainly talked a ton about the history of D&D, a lot more than we probably intended to when we sat down with an unboxing. It's not bait and switch. We did unbox something, but we certainly have a lot of history knowledge and personal gameplay with it through the years. So again, like, comment below. We'd love to hear from you about it. And we look forward to talking to you guys again on the next Fellowship of Geeks. Signing off today, I'm Diane.
I'm Jim. Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you soon.